Hi, I'm Danny Knightmare.
I'm Gory Movie.
We're Horror Addicts.
Yeah.
And you probably haven't seen us for a while, but we did a video not too long ago as we talked about the movie Sick. I hate to say it, but it was the worst movie of 2023 so far.
We've only seen 3 2023
I know,
movies.
right?
Also, we missed you guys.
Yeah, anyways, now we're going to be talking about another movie we just watched recently. Came out last year, but I just now saw it. Incantation.
This movie is all like it's so interactive. You gotta learn the chants. You gotta learn the hand signals. You have to memorize the little doodle thing.
Yeah. And
don't do that.
You gotta
I guess you should for the blessing, right?
Probably follow the TikTok or whatever. There's a challenge that you can't watch.
So, I will say what's really exciting about this, and then we're gonna check in with the chat to say hi to some people because I see some of my good friends like Patrick in there. Hey, what? Brandon. This movie is the highest grossing movie ever from Taiwan. And you guys, there's something special about checking out horror from other countries. Because as a country, their culture and everything, they're afraid of different things than us. And I think that's what's so fascinating about it, whether it be from France or Argentina or Taiwan, seeing what in that society is really resonating with the people who live there and their culture. And this movie is really scary. I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, oh, it reminds me a little of The Grudge. It reminds me a little of The Ring. You have to remember that that is just the way they perceive curses and ghosts there. You cannot defeat them. There are things that are passed on that want to be spread. And so it's gonna remind you of The Ring just because that is the culture of Taiwan.
Yeah.
I am so excited this movie did well. It largely did well because of a TikTok trend. A lot of people, because this movie was on Netflix, were trying to see how far they could get into it. And a lot of people didn't get it very far.
Oh, well,
I've seen it twice.
To be fair, though, our first try, we didn't get too far either because we couldn't get the subtitles to work.
Yeah, and I also will be honest, I'm very superstitious, so I didn't do the interactivity.
I did all the... It's like this, and then you turn it like that.
I'm so excited for Taiwan, though. I read an interview with, like, the actors and stuff, and it was really sweet, and I'm really happy for them because I think when it comes to paranormal horror, you're not going to find anything better than how the eastern part of the world does it.
Yeah, and let's see what we got going on in the chat here. What up, Brandon Bellum? Yeah, long time no see.
Brandon! I love Brandon. Brandon also has a killer mask collection.
Have Cheetah will review, who had a great stream earlier today. He had Brian Dobbs, the guy from Digging to Death.
Guys, I really want to shout out Have Cheetah Will View. Such a great channel. Patrick, the host of it, has amazing guests on where he does the 8 questions with so many people, some of your favorite movies. Also on Sundays, you get a double feature of Have Cheetah Will View and Gory Movie. His show starts at 5 Pacific Standard Time, and then usually you're talking about a great movie. I think last week they did Martyrs, or maybe it's this coming week. But yeah, the week before that we did Strangers that I was on, and then he did Strangers Pray at Night with me. So really good friend, but also channel I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, he's also done his 8 questions with us. So
yeah, both of us.
Yeah, we both, you can find both of those episodes on his thing. Today's he, like I said, he had Brian, I want to say Dobbs, the guy that was in Digging to Death, and that was cool. I learned some stuff about him, like he was born in Philadelphia, which got the Fresh Prince song stuck in my head.
Also, keep in mind, a very good friend of the channel, one of the oldest friends of the channel, Ariel, her birthday is in 2 months. Ariel, I have a feeling I'm going to have to review Evil Tunes for you, because you know, I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick, it really does. Check out our review.
Yeah, it was pretty generic, sadly. But Incantation, I felt, did stand out. It's very much of a great movie. It's very spooky. Its atmosphere was very good. I care about the characters, especially Little Dodo.
Oh, you didn't check out Christian Orr.
Oh, well, we got Christian Orr. What's up? He's back.
What's up?
Guess the show is watching at this hour. So no one told you life was gonna be this way. Life's a joke. Yeah.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your life's a joke. You're broke. Your love life's DOA. I can't sing.
Yeah, I don't know. Friends can be scary sometimes.
Sometimes you feel like your life is stuck in second fear when it hasn't been a good movie even for
year.
this year.
I have to say that opening is scary. The fact that they're splashing around in that public fountain, they're probably all diseased and gonna die. Like, that's gross.
Yeah, Christian says the foreign horror movies hit different. I'll always be watching those 15-minute recaps on YouTube. Someone who does a really good one is this Disturbing Breakdowns. Just look up Disturbing Breakdowns. I can't remember the YouTuber who does them, but I do really like those. They cover a lot of foreign horror. Incantation is not a witch movie.
No?
Oh, yeah, you covered Martyrs. That's right. You did Martyrs last week, which is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, Martyrs is the original. Amazing.
And I love you, Ariel. You know that. All right, so let's talk about the movie.
Yeah, so Incantation, like I said, great atmosphere, characters I care about. Little Dodo, especially, she was like,
oh my God, this girl from the moment she's on screen stole my heart. I cannot believe it's her first and only movie. The sweetest little actress that plays Dodo. She's like a 5-year-old little child in this. She is the cutest thing I've ever seen. You instantly want no harm to come to this child. She is so precious. She sells it completely, even though she's so young. I just loved her. So the premise of this is you have, it's set in 3 different time periods. So I'll take care of the main time period, not the present, but there's the right now. Yeah. There's what led to right now, and then there's 6 years ago. So what led to right now is there's a woman. Ow, 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 honey, my foot. Sorry. You ran over my foot.
I was trying to help the dog.
I know, honey.
To get up. You wanted up.
My poor little foot. So there's this woman, and her name is Ronan. And her child, she gave up when she gave birth because she feels she was mentally ill. And she feels that now that her child's 5 years old, that she has come to terms with her mental illness. She thought she saw monsters and demons and such, but now she knows that she was just sick, everything's okay, and she wants to prove that she can be a good mother to her child. So her child has been in foster care and is allowed to stay with her for an evaluationary period. And if she does well, then of course she'll get to raise her little girl. And so what she's doing, because this is a found footage movie, is she's recording everything to show Dodo one day when she's older how they came to be a family again after their period apart. I will say this is the period where some of the stuff is like, why are you filming that? But the relationship between the mother and daughter is so charming that I didn't complain. Some of it was just like, I don't know why you're filming that, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, so I don't care.
I don't even know how some of that present day footage was filmed. It just kind of was. It's a little convoluted on that stuff. But what really works as the found footage is the stuff in the past. That works great.
6 years ago. So this is when she was pregnant with Dodo.
Yeah, that was amazing. She's part of the Ghostbusters. Trademark probably whatever. But
they ain't no Venkman and Ray, that's for sure. So they're Ghostbusters. It's a little more like the Ghost Facers from Supernatural.
they're in the kitchen when the kitchen's hot.
It's very cheesy. And guys, I'm just going to tell you this right now. When it comes to these kind of shows, if you love them, I apologize. But I just don't get the point of investigating haunted places because best case scenario, nothing happens and you went there for nothing. Worst case scenario, it's as haunted as they say it is, and now you're cursed or you're pursued by some evil spirit.
I get why they do it, though, because the views. People want to know. People want to watch their footage and see if something happens to them. It's a safe way to see if there is something to believe in or not by having some other jackass go into these haunted places.
But you would, so you're probably better to comment on that stuff.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do exactly what these guys do. All right, so... Well, I'm going to wait for
What is the Vomit Gore trilogy? What's the first one called?
The Vomit Gore doll.
Vomit Gore doll. I'm trying to find it for you on Just Watch, Brandon. And I have no idea where you can watch it. I've never seen it personally.
It's not good movies, I'll tell you that much.
Worst case scenario, look on, if you're trying to find a really hard to find movie, look on YouTube. YouTube has a lot. Also, look up DVD Lady. I'm going to find a link for you. She has everything. She's based in India, but she has everything and she will get it for you with English subtitles. So a lot of the stuff that's out of print or foreign, she's going to have it for you. So I'm going to get you her link. I just got a lot of stuff from DVD Lady and so happy because these are movies I thought I'd never get to see. And thanks to her, I will.
Remember when I did that most offensive movie panel?
Oh, Mummy Me Movies here.
Hey, this is Mummy. How we doing?
Have that here.
Yeah, but remember I did that panel at Crypticon where we're talking about like the most disturbing and offensive movies?
Yes.
I talked about the Vomit Gore movies. They're not good movies, but maybe if there's a request for them, I could review them, I suppose.
And our Beastie, the Movie Massacre, is here too.
What up, Movie Massacre? How you doing, Rich? Look at this man.
Oh, it's a man.
Rocky says hi.
Hey.
But so
tell them about that. We were talking about the past. Sorry,
6 years ago, the Ghostbusters, which would be Ronan with her soon-to-be baby daddy fiance Dom,
and Yuan,
and his cousin Yuan. Yeah, they're investigating Dom's family, who have some weird religious practices, let's put it that way. They like kind of live out in the country a little far away, and they have their own little commune, and they do some weird stuff. They have their own little shrines and all this stuff with these mother Buddhas.
Yeah, and this is like kind of an extended part of their family. It's their great uncle. It's their great uncle and great aunt. So to them, it's kind of quirky. Like if you had an uber religious Jehovah's Witness family or Mormon family, they don't think it's something to be afraid of, but it's interesting, and they think they can use it for views.
Yeah.
So their family has this tunnel on their property that is cursed. Their family worships Mother Buddha, and they do all this crazy stuff. They cover this little girl in runes. They have to give up their names. They do these rituals every day. They've sealed off the tunnel because just going in the tunnel will make you cursed.
Some people have to give up their ears. There's some strange things. It makes you like think twice. And they're like, well, it's cursed tunnel. We should like go in there and film it. But not only do they go in there and film it, they start like ruining stuff. They move around stuff. They cut through stuff. They break stuff, and they are just little assholes about it.
It's incredibly disrespectful. Like when I do, and I watch them too, those paranormal investigation shows. Sometimes I get suckered into watching them. But I do think if you're gonna do that, be respectful. Be respectful to the entities that supposedly live there. And definitely if it's your family, be respectful to your family. Yeah, these kids, like right away, you're just like, oh, if anything bad happens to you, you done deserved it.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna tell you exactly what, but yeah, bad stuff happens, and it keeps jumping back and forth between the modern day and this. And I love, like I said, the past stuff. I love it. I love the visuals. I'm not going to tell you like exactly what happens to them, but they kind of get what they deserve. And unfortunately, that leads to the modern day.
That reminds me of a Movie Massacre video that just came out.
Yeah?
You get what you deserve. About Halloween Ends, by the way. Check out the Movie Massacre. Definitely check that video out. Really good one.
Hell yeah. Halloween Ends was a good movie.
Also, you got Vicente Guerrero.
Vincente Guerrero is back. We got
I love Vicente
the
Guerrero.
Vomit Gore trilogy
Come
was a
up.
horror playlist here on YouTube, but it list seems to have been taken down long ago.
Vicente,
Sorry.
come visit me on my channel, Gory V Movie. I'd love to see you again.
Yeah, I'll have to try and find a way to rewatch it. I have seen it. I've seen it, but if it's not here on YouTube, well, granted, it probably hadn't been there on YouTube for a while.
I'm doing a challenge right now in Letterboxd, speaking of this movie, which was part of my challenge called Screams Around the World, something I created because they have that map on Letterboxd, and I just have always dreamed of filling every single country with a movie. And I watch primarily horror movies, so I'm trying to watch a horror movie from every single country. This is my film from Taiwan, but I also got like a out-of-print slasher from China called Corpse Mania, I think. And I've got some more coming, so I'm so excited. I'm going to check out lots of foreign horror this year.
Let's kind of put it this way. Imagine Two Girls, One Cup, a horror movie. Not quite there, but...
Also, we got a Care Bear Store buddy, Kevin from Haunted by Horror. He's going to be getting a lot of snow, 1 to 3 feet over where he's at, so...
Care Bear Store Brocky!
I hope you're safe,
Sweet
and
release.
I hope everything's going to be good over there.
All right. Stay good. I'm hoping not to get a whole lot more snow here. I do actually want to make a fake trailer for a movie called Battle Queen 2060, based off the old Julia Strand movie, Battle Queen 2020. It took place in the distant future of 2020, made in the 90s. Now I want to make a fake trailer for a sequel.
The third part of this movie, and it is really easy to follow, is the present day. So you have Ronan Lee, who is the mother of Dodo, and she is speaking to the camera, and she's telling you, hey, you need to do these blessings. You need to focus on these images. You need to learn this chant. These blessings will protect you, because even just looking at the video of what we shot in the tunnel will curse you. They tell you this movie is...
You'll be cursed. Yes.
They tell you this movie is based on a true story, and it very loosely is. The true story that inspired this film was there was a family, and they killed, the couple killed each other and their children, or a child, I can't remember which, because they believed they were cursed. And that kind of inspired the story, very loosely based, and there's not a lot of evidence for this being real. But yeah, the legend of this movie is that if you just see what happened in the tunnel, you're cursed. So she's teaching you all these blessings. She reminds you throughout the film to do them, to do the chant, focus on it so that you're safe. So it really breaks that fourth wall, and it talks directly to you, which I think is really engaging and really interesting. When movies, horror movies, break that fourth wall in a way that's scary, like the very end of Paranormal Activity, when that demon looks right at you, that really hits me. That really scares me.
Yeah. There is some real, genuine, creepy ass atmosphere in this movie. It's got a lot of Paranormal Activity type thing with a little kid who sees the ghost, and they talk and interact with this ghost. There's a cool part where they're just driving on a loop, and they see this body hanging down, and they try to stop and back up to see what they really are seeing. And it's just really cool. I love some of that stuff.
They show you a lot of clips of other people who've been cursed, and yeah, they end up killing themselves or dying in horrible ways. For a paranormal movie, this is surprisingly gory.
Yeah.
There's some very graphic kills. There's a reason why there's a TikTok challenge to see this movie, because right from the get-go, you see some very graphic kills. You see graphic, people ending their own lives. Some pretty scary stuff right up front, and then you get very invested in this mother and daughter, and you're like, oh gosh, I hope nothing happens to the little Dodo, because she's the sweetest little thing that's ever existed.
Imagine if The Happening had a good story.
Now here's something I think is really fun, and I want to ask you. The mother, because Dodo is very scared, and you feel for her because she's like, is the reason you threw me away is because you're afraid of monsters?
Yeah, that's a sad question.
Which is sad, but it's something a kid would say.
Yeah.
And she tells her, whenever you're scared, think of your 3 favorite things. You won't be scared anymore. Dodo's 3 favorite things are pineapple, bunny, and woof, 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 which is dog.
Woof, woof, woof.
What are your 3 favorite things? And let us know in the chat what your 3 favorite things are. They cannot be people.
Sorry, Brocky, you're a person enough for me, so you're not on this list. My favorite 3 things are blood, breasts, and beasts.
My 3 favorite things are horror, hexes. And I can't decide if it's going to be dongs or puppets. So I'm going to go with puppet dongs.
Puppet dongs. You love to draw things as dongs, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, check out Gory Draws Dongs on Instagram. Horror movie characters drawn as dongs.
Yeah, it's very... It's not as graphic as you might sound. It's very cartoony, but it's great. Check it out. I especially liked your one of Dead West from Screaming Soup.
Yeah, it was a boner.
A real boner, yeah. So, yeah, I think there's some good jumping back and forth, but it gets creepier on both ends as long as it goes. It's a lot like, in a sense, The Ring, but it's also a lot like Paranormal Activity.
Oh, you gotta check out this. Books, movies, and food. Dogs, horrors, and tea. Oh, I love those.
We know that dogs are on your list.
Vicente says, Incantation sounds really good. The way you review it should be better than Paranormal Activity 2 through 5. I really like 2, but definitely I'd say more superior to 3 through 5.
Yeah. It has a little bit like 3, because you have a little girl interacting with something else that nobody else can see, but I would say it's better than 3.
Cheetah movies and library Tuesdays.
There you go.
I love you guys. These are great picks. Oh, my 3 favorite things are blood, giant monsters, and breasts. Very nice. Love it.
Not far from mine.
Blood, beasts, and breasts is basically what you picked.
It's the thing, yeah.
Oh, Mummy says tea, cake, and 99s. What's 99s, Mummy? Oh, I think that's records.
Oh, well,
isn't it?
45s and 33s are the ones
I don't know, Mummy. Tell me what a 99 is. I'm uneducated.
Maybe there's a bigger record that I know. I sell 45s and 33s at work.
Mommy, tell me what 99s are. I graduated in 1999 from the secondary school, high school.
Everybody parties like it's 1999.
Yeah, they played that song a lot at my graduation. It brings back
so.
memories.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about this movie. What are 99s?
They're incredible. Mystery.
I'm uneducated. Inform me, people. So this movie is really, really creepy. If paranormal stuff gets under your skin, this movie will scare you. This movie breaks the fourth wall. It talks directly to you. You are engaged in this movie. It is violent, but I wouldn't say it's gory. There's not a lot of blood and guts, but there's a lot of violent things that happen.
There's some that make me go, ooh, like I wouldn't want to die.
I know those. I thought those were cornettos.
Oh,
Soft
okay.
ice cream cones with a flake in it. I thought those were cornettos.
Those sound delicious.
Flakes are so good. Oh, love flakes. Vicente, I made you a mod because your comment got put in timeout.
Oh. Yeah, because you cuss. It's okay to cuss. I don't care.
But yeah, people are allowed to swear in the chat.
As long as you're not swearing at each other, I don't care.
You can stay a mod. I mean, if it's okay with him, it's his channel.
I'm fine. Yeah. With the wrench comes great responsibility. Don't abuse it.
Yes, a spanner, as you say in England.
As long as you don't abuse it, you can keep it.
Yeah, just the only rule is respect other people in the chat.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the only rule we have. You can swear. You can talk about whatever the hell you want.
Start calling each other names, then yeah, that's still.
Be nice to each other.
Other than that, it's fine.
Be excellent to each other.
You don't need to even agree on the movies. Like, I don't care if there's a horror movie that I hate, but you're like, that's my favorite horror movie. I will salute you for your favorite movie being a horror movie.
We love horror movies, and horror movies are about blood, breasts, and bees. So if you want to talk about nudity, you want to talk about gore, you want to swear, go for it. It's nothing we haven't seen in a horror movie.
That's from The Last Drive-In Oath, by the way. You know, shout out to Joe Bob Briggs. For anybody who's not getting the reference. Go check out The Last Drive-In on Shudder.
By the way, this movie is on Netflix,
yeah.
So you can easily see it. This movie is really creepy. I don't think it's especially gory.
No.
I would compare the gore to being about as bad as not even Friday the 13th. Like, it's pretty tame overall.
Enough to be R-rated. It's not a PG-13 gore by any means. There's a lady who like takes a hot poker and just shoves it into her mouth. I'm like, oh my god! Like, it's like sounds so painful.
I would say it's about as bad as The Happening.
Yeah, like I said, The Happening, but with a great plot and story around it. Not trees.
Yeah, so the gore is not too bad. What this movie really does to scare you, it's more psychological. It gets you on a spiritual level. It gets you on a level where you feel like you're being personally attacked. It's a movie that, you know, it threatens to follow you in your daily life. This movie talks directly to you, which I think is really unique and very effective.
And I don't know about Asian horror movies, like they know how to use that hair way better than like the devil or Pray for the Devil ever did. This is so
Yeah,
much better.
there's a lot of caterpillars. So I'll talk about some
yeah.
things that are triggering in this movie.
Oh yeah, the holes.
If I and I apologize, I can't remember the name of the fear, but there's a fear of holes, like many
Surfaces
holes.
with holes.
There's a lot of that. There's people who have like this infection or rash, so look like many holes over their skin.
It's like a
There's
bloody
also
beehive.
a big reveal towards the end that has many holes. That is going to mess you up if that is one of your fears.
Oh yeah.
If you are afraid of curses or hexes, it's going to affect you. It's a great mother-daughter story.
Oh.
Great mother-daughter story.
It's in the feels.
But if you have small children, it might affect you a little too hard.
It's even a great daughter foster father film.
Yeah. Oh god. You know what? That's a character I really love. So Dodo, for the first 5 years of her life, has been in foster care, and it's kind of like a home. But there's a guy there, and they ask him early on, "Why do you do this? You're a young, good-looking single guy." And he's like, initially he says, "I want to know what it feels like to be a father." But you find out later on that he can't have children, and the reason he actually goes through a lot for Dodo. And the reason why he does that is because she's the only one who ever called him dad. And he wants more than anything to be a dad. And she let him be a dad. And so he's willing to risk his life for her.
Yeah, even where everybody's against Rowan on this, he's actually pretty understanding and puts himself on the line for this. So good for Chi-Ming.
The score, I will say, that's something I wanted to talk about, is the sound design.
Mostly
so
sound.
they play this chant, which by the way goes to the tune of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's what she kept saying to block it out. She's superstitious.
I'm superstitious, so I had to block it on my head.
Stitches.
I'm superstitious. The sound design is incredible. Not just the chanting, but when they show those like rashes have many holes, you hear this like suckling sound. It's really unnerving. Sound design in this is really top notch.
Yeah, I'd say that's more than the score itself, but it does have a good score and all that stuff. Like the atmosphere, like is very creepy, both visually and what you hear. I think like it gets you pretty much both ends.
Something else I'd like to say is the performances. The little sweetheart who plays Dodo, she stole my heart. I love her so much. You just want to wrap her up in a blanket and make sure nothing bad ever happens to her. And like her mom says towards the end of the movie, she's like, I hope every day when you open your eyes, you have nothing but joy. I hope when you see something you want to eat, you eat till you're stuffed. And like, that's how I feel when I look at her. I'm just like, I want you to never experience pain in your life because you are the most precious thing I've ever seen. You guys have to see this. She's so sweet. I love her so much. And she's so good. You never feel like it's a child actor. You instantly buy in. This is Dodo. And this is who she is. And Ronan, I feel so bad for her because she keeps saying she's not a good mom. And she's willing to sacrifice her life for this sweet girl.
Yeah. She's a good mom. She's in a really shitty situation that nobody, like, it's uncharted terrain. Like, I can't blame her for choices that she makes that might put her and Dodo in risk, but it's because, like I said, nobody would know that. Like, she's a good mom.
It's so hard because she's forced to see her child suffer and she's forced to see her child scared and in pain. And it makes you wonder, especially if you have a child, like how much of that could you take before you cave?
And for a while there, she thought she was like getting better. She thought it was all in her head and that like it was just a mental illness. And she wanted her daughter back, and that's, you don't blame her for wanting that. But then, unfortunately, yeah, the only thing I'm going to spoil about it is there's a curse.
There's a foster father who, he has one moment in particular where he has, and I'm not spoiling it, I'm keeping this as vague as possible, but he has the option to bring Dodo home with him. And Dodo says, but what about Mama? And he knows she loves her mother.
Yeah.
And he could be selfish.
He could.
And honestly, being selfish might be what's best for Dodo and just take her home and call the police. But he doesn't. When
nobody else will really believe Ronan, he puts himself on the line, and everybody else too.
He risks himself legally. He risks himself his life for this little girl only because he believes her. And in so many of these movies, a little child will say they see monsters or demons or something, and nobody believes them. And Ronan believes her.
Yeah.
He treats her like it is his daughter because to him it is. She's the only little girl that he's helped raise that called him daddy, and he wants more than anything to be a father.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people dismiss what Ronan and Dodo are saying, but
And
Chi-Ming, he actually knows that they're sincere. He can
here's
tell.
something really exciting about this. Richard says it sounds like a good slow burn. It's not a slow burn. This is action packed. You get gory, well, not gory, violent kills right away. And just, every time it gets into something more, it does a good job of showing you the more dramatic stuff, like between the mother and the daughter and the child, while action stuff is going on. So your pulse never gets a chance to settle. So, yeah, a lot of the mother-daughter stuff, like she thinks she sees a baddie in her room. So there's something scary happening, but you're also getting to see this relationship between the mother and daughter. When that moment I talked to you about with the foster father, where he has to make a decision, it's a very action-packed scene. So it's for a paranormal movie, it's very well paced.
Yeah, it's actually, like I said, because it jumps back from the past and what's happening, now and stuff.
Yeah,
you'll get to see some scary stuff pretty early on in this film. Like, they go back and forth. Like, there's a lot of character development throughout the movie, but there's some, like, jumping back for some scares, so don't worry.
It's edited so well. You don't feel jarred because you'll watch the middle portion, which is very little of it is in the present day, where Ronan, the mother, is talking directly to the camera. Very little of it. A lot of it is set leading up to the present day. But if it starts to get slower or anything, then it cuts back to what's the catalyst for this 6 years ago when they investigated this haunted, cursed tunnel. And all of that is super interesting and very scary.
Oh, yeah.
So it's edited so well, so you don't have a lot of time to get bored or catch your breath. There are some sweet moments, but I feel like you're so invested in these characters, you don't see the time passing.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice now, and neither time was I bored. I was completely invested.
The sweet moments and just the character development gives you a little bit of time to breathe, but then you're right back into some more action, and it's really
And
good.
I feel like it's time to just say,
say it.
we really enjoyed this. I think I enjoyed this more the second time around. I watched it once by myself, and then I watched it once with Danny. On the second time around, even knowing what was going to happen, I was really invested in this. I think the first time I was kind of like, okay, well, let's see where this goes. Now that I know where it goes, I was really invested in it, and I enjoyed Dodo and her mother so much more, I think, and the characters. I was so happy to see them again because these are people I really grew to love over the course of this movie, and that's so hard to do.
Yeah. This is probably my second favorite foreign language film of last year. I think Pussy Cake was just barely a little better for me because it's more my flavor, but Incantation was so well done. Like, if anybody told me it was their favorite, I wouldn't say there's no reason why it shouldn't be.
Absolutely. I'd say if you love The Ring, either the original or the remake, if you love The Grudge, Paranormal Activity, those kind of movies, this is sure to, it's a lot faster paced than a lot of those movies.
It's got a lot of those type of scares and spooks.
That kind of stuff, that kind of thing scares you, this movie is going to scare you. Where can you see this movie? Mummy, you can see this movie on Netflix.
Check it out on Netflix, Mummy. We watched the Japanese version of, Paranormal Activity at Rich's house, the Movie Massacre.
Yeah, it was the one in Tokyo.
Yeah, I'd say this is better than that.
It's way better than that. It's really good paranormal horror. And even if you took the horror stuff out of it, I think you're so invested in the story between Dodo and Ronan, and even her foster father. Like, these are such people that you really care about.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'd definitely say see it. It is good. I think the effects are great. There's some really cool, spooky ass stuff. I'm not even one of those people that has those whole fears about whole surfaces, but at the very end, there is something that creeps me out about that too. I'm like, oh my God.
There is a reveal they say for the very end, and you think, because they mentioned it a few times, you think, okay, I can probably handle it. How scary can it be?
Right.
And you're not gonna expect what Mother Buddha looks like. You're not gonna expect it.
Made my skin crawl.
It gets under your skin. It really finds this like sixth sense, and it completely just like takes it by the throat and strangles it. Like that, paranormal sense you have when you have like a bad feeling about something. It takes that and just like shakes it around.
And yeah, there's all stuff with hands. There's all
and guys, if you want the most out of this movie, do everything Ronan says.
Yeah.
Do the chant. Focus on the symbol. Do the hand symbols.
Yeah, there's parts where it's like just showing you the symbol and you're hearing the chant, and it's like it's Get involved. Do what the movie says. It will protect you.
It's an interactive movie, and you're
Yeah.
going to get the most out of it by interacting with it.
Because if you see what's in their, hidden tunnel that the family has, like if just watching the videotape, which you see in the movie, just seeing that will curse you. So you got to do this stuff to, save yourself. Interact.
But for me, this movie was very unnerving. It did creep me out a lot. And I was heartbroken, really rooting for Dodo and Ronan, especially, and the foster father. I really cared about these characters a lot.
Yeah.
And especially if you have children, you have a lot of those moments, even with your parents, like, what would you do for the people that you love the most? And that's kind of what's at the heart of this story. When it comes to people you love, you're willing to do anything. And that's what Ronan does. And I think she's a great heroic character.
Yeah.
When is the next live stream, which is Brew? Soon-ish. Probably not on Saturdays. I think I'm going to move it, but stay tuned.
Yeah. This Saturday, though, is the Royal Rumble. We're going to have a raffle.
Yeah, so there'll be no Witches Brew this Saturday. I think I'm going to pick maybe a weekday to do it. But stay tuned, Ariel. I'm definitely going to bring it back.
Yeah. It'll be fun. It's something you can sip on. So,
Witches Brew, by the way, if you guys don't know, is my morning show that I have done a couple of over on my channel, Gory B Movie.
Is that the only Danhausen clip we have, or did you get the one that
Oh! Uh-oh.
Oh, no, that's the right one.
Yeah.
So there you go. You're cursed from watching this film, and the only way to break that curse is to continue to watch my live streams or Gory's live streams. Otherwise, your life will get shittier. So tune in next Tuesday or on Gory's channel as well, and your life will get better. Danhausen wouldn't lie to you. You are now cursed, but it could be a pleasant curse if you do it right. All right, cut.